What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Jenks Island Podcast, the only NFL podcast in a year takes from a washed-up Division III cornerback and his friends. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down the NFC and AFC North divisions, giving a little bit of a preview on what we expect for the upcoming season. Last week, we did, I believe it was the West divisions, and then the 2 weeks before that, we did the East and the South. So if you haven't checked those episodes out, make sure you go and do that after this. A lot of fun stuff coming to the channel this year, this upcoming season. We're about to start doing some fantasy videos, things like that, the next few weeks over training camp. And then once the season starts, we'll be doing weekly predictions and pick'ems, and then we'll be doing live streams and stuff like that after some of the major games. So a lot of fun content coming your way. Anyways, getting into the AFC North, this division, I mean, both of these two divisions are probably the top two divisions in the league in my eyes. So it's going to be a lot of fun to break down. But the AFC North, team-wise, I'm going to go rankings first for the teams. Number one, I'm going to go the Ravens. 2, Steelers, even though it's an iffy team right now. 3, I'm going to go the Bengals, and Browns at number 4. Hammer, what are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. You got the same list.
Ty, what are your thoughts?
I'm a little different. I have the Ravens at 1. I have the Bengals at 2. Steelers at 3. Browns at 4.
So what can I ask you? What's the difference for the Bengals Steelers argument?
Yeah, I just don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. I know Hammer's probably a Rodgers homer, but we saw what he did with the Jets, last year. We're like 4 years removed from a good Aaron Rodgers. His last year in Green Bay, they went 8-9. I just don't think he has the ability to kind of bring that team to the next level. They're an older team too, especially on the defensive side. They bring in Ramsey, they get rid of Minka. How well is it gonna, are they gonna hold up over a long stretch of the season? I just don't, and offensively, right? It's like they got DK and they have some really good tight ends. The tight end room is great, but outside of that, wide receiver 2 is Calvin Austin, not too big of a fan of there. Like the running back, I know they brought in the Johnson kid. They have Jaylen Warren, but it's like Warren hasn't taken the step up that a lot of guys have wanted him to. And, Ken Johnson replicate what Najee Harris was. I think there's just a lot of questions around the Pittsburgh Steelers. With the Bengals, it's like, their offense is going to be good. Their defense will probably be bad, but the offense is good enough to keep them in any game. So that's just, for me.
The Bengals didn't make the playoffs last year, and the Steelers made it with Russell Wilson.
And I think that's a valid argument. And I want to say this, Ty. I think you could argue for the Bengals, right? Their offense is so good that the defense, it's bad, but it won't keep them out of games. I think you could argue the opposite. So if whoever you want to go, for the Steelers, I'd argue their defense is still going to be pretty good enough to keep them in every single game. And then Rodgers, last year he threw, I think it was 28 touchdowns, 11 or 12 picks. And so it was a solid season. The Jets obviously still didn't do anything with that. And at the beginning of the season, Rodgers definitely struggled. He found his rhythm with Devontae Adams, and I think he'll do the same thing with DK Metcalf this year. One quick thing I want to say is DK Metcalf, fantasy value-wise, is being really overlooked this year for whatever reason. I know going into the fantasy drafts, redrafts, dynasty, see a lot of people ranking him really low on their boards as far as wide receiver 1 goes. And I think the value there is really, really good because he is going to be a guy that gets fed by Rodgers. To
Hammer's point, though, about the season last year, right? You got to remember the first couple games was the Justin Fields show, so it's not all Russell Wilson. I just think overall that roster was better than the roster is this year. I just liked Minka in the back end, and I think offensively they're a complete roster.
I think it's fair. I'm interested to see how this defense plays this year. I know TJ Watt just got paid, right? Maybe he has a little bit of a boost under him because of that. And I know last year was a little bit of a huge step back or anything for him, but it was definitely a lower performance year than prior years for him. Obviously being the highest paid player outside of a quarterback of all time now, he obviously has that pay grade and that pay bump. So maybe that bumps him up in the defense, getting Jalen Ramsey. We'll see how he comes in because, right, he's been all over the place in the recent seasons of, can you trust Jalen Ramsey to really be a lockdown corner? Yes, no, it's kind of been all over the place. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyways, moving on to quarterbacks here. Hammer, what are your thoughts on this quarterback rankings?
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. I think Lamar Jackson's 1, 2 Joe Burrow, 3 Rodgers, and 4 Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Ty, any arguments?
I guess Flacco, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Flacco. He's going to be the week one start. And even if it's not Flacco, I think you're still putting Sanders, Gabriel,
Mhm.
whoever, Kenny Pickett at the bottom. Yeah, I have no differences than Hammer.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree, and really Lamar Jackson, like you could argue maybe Joe Burrow's above him just because like he's throwing the ball more and having more success stats wise, but Lamar Jackson just he
You
poses
know,
such a threat on the run as well, and he is truly dynamic. He bumps up the Ravens so much just himself.
when ESPN came out with that top 10 QBs list and the coaches, players, and execs voted and scouts, they actually put Burrow above Lamar.
Yeah, and I mean, like you think about it, like if you're thinking like traditional quarterback or things like that, like Joe Burrow, the things he was doing last year was absolutely absurd. And then Lamar Jackson obviously has been MVP before, and he's been a guy that you can just trust putting into any situation. So it's tough to kind of rank him. It just depends on how you want your quarterback to play, in my eyes. But
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to think about it in the same way that the MVP ranking goes, right? Like Burrow's never won an MVP because, I mean, last year maybe he would have, but he didn't make the playoffs, right? Like
yeah,
Lamar, they're consistently in the playoffs. You know, statistically, he's very, very consistent, and he brings two facets to the game. It's just you do have to take in that winning aspect
yeah.
into all.
Anyways, moving on to running back here. This one is, I feel like you could have a little bit of a different ranking here for running backs. Ty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, number one, I think it's pretty obvious. Derrick
Yeah.
Henry, right? He's still a dog. No one's going to touch him. And number two, I have Chase Brown. I'm a huge Chase Brown guy. I know Jenks is a huge Chase Brown guy. And then 3 and 4, it's the two rookies for me. So it's Johnson and then Sampson. I think Johnson has a little bit more. I think he has a higher floor, but probably a lower ceiling. I think Sampson brings a
think that's
little bit
fair.
more to the table as like a quicker back. And if you do throw in the fact that the Steelers do have Jalen Warren, I think Jalen Warren brings, he's more of a solid, what you're getting with Jalen Warren, where Sampson and I think maybe that backfield would be a little bit different if we knew what was going on with Judkins, but we're probably not going to see much of Judkins. So
Yeah, no, I think that's 100% fair. I have the Steelers at 3 as well. Whoever that running back 1 is for them, and also like you think about it, like you said, it's going to be a running back by committee, like it was last season. And Najee Harris still got his 1,000 yards last year, and that's going to be the similar role for Johnson. And then Jalen Warren, can he take the leap that you said? Like you said, everyone is looking for him to take. Can he finally do that this year? Whereas the Browns, Judkins, who knows how that situation is going to play out, and then Sampson. I was higher on Sampson than Judkins in our running back ranking episode for the draft. So I do think Sampson can be a really solid running back for them. I just want to see him, I think he had some fumbling issues, things like that. Want to see him clear that up. And then I think he could be a really solid running back nonetheless, but still at 4. Hammer, anything else to add to that?
Nope, I got the same list.
Sweet. And then getting into receivers, this is a fun list because there are a lot of dynamic receiver duos in this division. And number 1, I'm going to go Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think that's the easy scratch it off. That's number 1, no matter what. No arguments there. Number 2, I'm going to go Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. You could say D-Hop will be receiver too, but I think right now at this point in time for D-Hop, he's more of that vet presence for those two guys, and he'll still get the ball a good amount, but I think Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers are going to be the 2 main targets in that receiver room. Number 3, I'll go Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman because I think that duo, the second option, is a little bit better than I would say Robert Woods is for the Steelers. So number 4, I'm going to go DK Metcalf and Robert Woods. But I want to hear any arguments. Hammer, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Bengals 1, 2, probably the Ravens. I put 3, I'd go Steelers. I mean, I think DK's way better than Jeudy, in my opinion. And I mean, that receiver 2 in Pittsburgh, I mean, you could say Calvin Austin.
Yeah, you could say a few different guys.
Didn't have a bad year, in the slot for them. I'm gonna go with the Steelers, and I'm gonna go with DK. I'd go DK with Jeudy.
Yeah, Ty, I want to hear your thoughts first, and I'll add on a little bit.
No, I'm with Hammer here. I think Metcalf, really elevates that receiver room above the Browns room. I think you look at Judy's stats in last year's season, a lot of it was aided by a 300-yard game against the Broncos with Levi Wallace getting torched out there. But I think Tillman's got some good upside, but yeah, I just don't think, the difference between him and Calvin Austin is that big of a gap versus, Metcalf and Jeudy. So I had Chase Higgins. I had Flowers Hopkins actually too. So I saw Hopkins maybe being that wide receiver 2 above Bateman, and then Metcalf, Austin, Jeudy, Tillman.
And I will say, I think I think D-Hop is kind of, or Bateman, sorry. Bateman's kind of taking a leap last year. We saw him more as that deep threat for the Ravens. He was actually pretty
He's
much
just
like a
been
touchdown.
healthy. He was
Yeah,
just healthy last year. Like, he hasn't been healthy a ton in his career.
and he's
So him just
been a
being on the
touchdown
field.
weapon.
Yeah.
He like we see him scoring a lot more than we have in prior years, so that bumped up his fantasy value a lot. I'm just interested to see if that is consistent again this year, or if he kind of takes a step back. As far as Jerry Jeudy goes, I think he is the receiver one for the Browns, and I think he'll be getting a lot of targets. Like I was going through his game log the other day, and some of the targets that he was getting in these games. Let me see if I can pull it up
The thing
quickly.
with Jeudy, though, and the weapons in this room, it's
Yeah.
really dependent on what quarterback. Like, Jeudy had his best times with Jameis Winston. When Jameis Winston got benched for DTR, it was more back to, like, kind of like Njoku was more the lead. When Flacco was playing, right, it was Njoku was the lead. So it's tough to say, like, will Jeudy be able to replicate what he did? Because the bulk of his production really came with Jameis Winston.
Yeah, no, and Jameis Winston, like you said, like he is a guy that just wants to sling the rock, and he'll go to his number one option is throw him the rock as many times as possible. So I want to see if Joe Flacco can replicate that. I know David Njoku and Flacco have that connection from prior years, and we'll see if that kind of takes reps from Jerry Jeudy. But I do think Jerry Jeudy is going to have a really good season this year. Moving on to tight ends here, Ham. What are your thoughts and rankings for them?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know who you. I mean, I'm gonna go Mark Andrews 1, 2. I'll go David Njoku. 3. I'm gonna go Pat, and 4. I'm gonna go Gesicki.
Okay, all right, Ty, thoughts?
Yeah, number one, I had Njoku. I think Mark Andrews, he's kind of, I don't know.
He's
Last
slowing
year,
down, but he also had
definitely did
11
slow down.
touchdowns last year. He also
Yeah,
had 11
he
touchdowns
really
over
came
700
on.
yards.
He came on late in the season with a lot of touchdowns. The beginning of the season was really, really tough for him. So it's, and part of that might have been he had that accident. So, but I had Njoku 1. I have Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth 2. I think Arthur Smith loves Jonnu Smith. He's had him like a lot in his career. Jonnu Smith had a really kind of a breakout year last year too. So I imagine them using those two tight ends a ton, especially with what their wide receiver room looks like. And then at 3, I have Andrews Likely. Likely, I mean, in the beginning of the season, I thought he was going to become the guy, and then he kind of fell off at the end of the season. So it's just like, I want to see more consistency with these two. But Andrews as like if we were talking 2 years ago, yeah, Mark Andrews would be the best guy for me. And then, at the last, I just Gesicki. I mean, he doesn't really provide much value at this point in his career.
Yeah. No, I see. I'm kind of happy we have 3 different lists here for the tight ends. So number 1 for me, I'm gonna go to Njoku as well. Same as Ty. I think Njoku really has that connection with Joe Flacco, and then whoever else is gonna start for this season with the Browns, they'll still throw to him. Njoku, I know like his athleticism is better than I'd say all of the guys on the rest of this list. Maybe Jonnu is pretty close to him, but David Njoku is an athletic freak, and I think that helps him out a lot. I'm gonna go Mark Andrews at number 2. I still think he's above Jonnu and Mike Gesicki at this point in time, but he definitely is. We see him kind of taking a step back, and I want to see how that drop in the playoffs, like if that lights a fire under his ass, or if he kind of just starts, if that gets to him and maybe he gets the yips this year. Like I kind of want to see how that affects him this season. Number 3, I'm gonna go Jonnu. I think he's above Pat Freiermuth in that offense at this point in time with Arthur Smith there. I think he's going to be the main target on the tight end position. And I think he'll still have a solid year. I want to see him. He had his breakout season last year, right? But I want to see him replicate that this season, because before that, he was kind of a average tight end at best. So I want to see him take another step and replicate last season. And number 4, Mike Gesicki. Ty, I know you said he doesn't provide a lot of value, but I think he is kind of a safety blanket for Joe Burrow. And I want to see if he can replicate it again this year as well, because he hasn't been a huge production guy in his career. And then last year was his best season of his career. And I want to see him replicate that this season with the Bengals, because I think his fantasy value, he has a relatively high floor for like the draft position you can get him in if you're in a dynasty league, or at the very, very end of like a redraft league. I think he has a really low floor or a really high floor, but he has a lower ceiling than every single other guy in this list. So
yeah, he's just not the tight end that he was the first couple years in Miami, and like now it's he's gonna have like a game where he has 100 yards and probably 2 touchdowns, but otherwise it's just very inconsistent. And in that offense, right, they're not gonna ask him to be that, right? He is the safety blanket, but when you look at all those other guys, right, like they are guys that, will be more consistent target share,
A little more explosive.
catches, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah, just you know what you're getting out of them.
Yeah.
Gesicki, it's just,
I
when
think
they
that's
need
fair.
him, he'll catch a couple balls.
Yeah. So Ty, I want to hear your thoughts on this division. What are your win predictions off the top of your head for each of these teams?
Yeah, I think the Ravens are like a 13 to 14 win team. That's pretty easy, right? They're always going to be competing as long as Lamar Jackson's there for the number 1 seed in the AFC. The Bengals, I think it's kind of like a ceiling of maybe like 11 wins and a floor of like 8, right? I think they're going to be good enough, and it's kind of what they were last year. I think they were 8 and 9. They're going to be, or maybe it's 9 and 8 actually. They're going to be good enough to compete for a wild card spot, but that defense, especially with all the question marks around Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson right now, just isn't good enough to make them, the team that they were in Joe Burrow's first couple of years. I think Steelers, they're probably like a 8-9 win team for me, and then the Browns, maybe 4 wins.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I'm
maybe.
pretty close in that range for all those. Hammer, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I said Ravens 13. Steelers. I'm gonna like Steelers, Bengals both go 10, and that just comes down to 2 division tiebreakers, and then Cleveland's 4-3 wins.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with the
Depends
Browns.
if they play Denver, because that's a freebie.
Okay.
That was a little shot.
But good on him. No, it's all right. Yeah, I'm gonna go 4 wins for the Browns as well. I think that's pretty realistic for them. Just kind of feeling out that quarterback situation, things like that. Bengals. I'm gonna go 10 wins. I like that, Ham. I like 10 wins for both of those teams, the Steelers and the Bengals, and kind of fighting for that last playoffs, like a wild card spot at the bottom of the playoffs. And then obviously the Ravens. I'll go. What were they last year? 13, 14 wins. I'll go 14 again. I think the over-under is probably going to be, for me, it would be like 12, over under 12, and then definitely think they're over 12. So I'll go the Ravens, 14 wins there. Next, moving on to the NFC North. I really like these teams here. Again, great division, Hammer's division. I know he's going to break down a lot for the Packers coming in a second. Teams-wise, I'm going to go number 1, I'm going to go the Lions. 2, I'll go the Packers. 3, the Bears, and 4, the Vikings. And I will say this real quick. I think all 3 of these top 3 teams, in my eyes, are going to be fighting for playoff spots this year. I think the Bears will take a step up under Ben Johnson. And I think Dennis Allen's going to have that defense playing really, really well because we've seen what he can do with teams that have solid players on the defense. And he just needs to get that system going, and he'll really turn the defense to a top tier machine pretty quick. The Lions, obviously, they lost both coordinators, and I want to see how that affects them. But I think they have all the talent still to be the number 1 team in this division. But again, all 3 of these teams could have very similar records towards the end of the season and could be fighting in the last few weeks for the playoff spots. So it's going to be a really exciting division. But I think those are my rankings. Hammer, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, right now Lions are 1. They're the team to beat. They're the kings of the North. You gotta beat the man to be the man. 2, I'm gonna go Green Bay. 3, I'm gonna go Minnesota. 4, I'm gonna go Chicago. I like Minnesota. I like what they did this offseason, especially in free agency. They really built that offensive line with Will Fries, and they get someone else too that I'm blanking on from the Colts. But
Ryan Kelly.
That's right. Yeah. But I like what they did. I think JJ McCarthy's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be good. I saw what they did with Sam Darnold last year. I don't think it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be a drop off because this guy's a rookie unless he comes in like Jane Daniels and lights it up. But I think it's gonna be a little step down, but not too much. I think that scheme, that system, is built for him, and those playmakers, they're gonna do all the work for him. And then I got the Bears at 4.
Yeah. And Hammer, we were saying like during the draft process with JJ McCarthy, we were like, this guy is like more of a system quarterback.
It's all about landing spot for him.
Yeah,
and he landed in the best spot.
A good situation, he can succeed.
Yeah.
Ty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I also have Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. I just think JJ has a higher floor but a lower ceiling than Caleb, right? And Caleb, he just got pulled out of practice the other day because he wasn't, Ben Johnson's just pissed off that he's not in the details. So I think it's just, are we going to see Caleb kind of go through some more growing pains this year? Or is he going to start to figure it out as training camp rolls along? But like Hammer said, right, they did it with Darnold last year, who over his career really hadn't done much, right? He was just coming off being a backup in San Francisco. And, you might be able to say, okay, fine, he learned there. But I just think you've seen other guys in the system have some success, right? Nick Mullins has threw like 4 touchdowns. Like, just because you have Justin Jefferson and a really stacked up offense around him. Hammer brought up, they shored up the offensive line. They also made a lot of additions on the defensive line too with Hargrave, and they added another defensive tackle that I'm blanking on. But they did what good teams need to do when they have a young quarterback, and it's really start with the trenches, and they already had the weapons around him. So I think that I don't think the Bears are really going to be competing for a playoff spot right now based on kind of what's going on in camp, but I think the Vikings could, and I think it's partially just because I don't know what the Vikings schedule looks like, but the Packers have a tough schedule, right? So if it's like if the Packers start to slip a few, even if they beat the Vikings, right? It's like if the Vikings have a little bit easier of a schedule. So
the Vikings and the Lions have tougher schedules than us.
Do they?
Yeah, because we're all playing the same, division. They're just playing the teams that were in their spot last year.
Sure, yeah, they were like inside. So yeah, I mean, the whole division then has a tough schedule, but I think the Packers have the higher ceiling as a team, right? Because you just don't know what you're getting.
I totally agree with that. If we're going the only thing that's keeping Minnesota under Green Bay right now is the QB. I think Minnesota, if you go player for player, they're probably a better roster than Green Bay. Green Bay is just still really, really young, and we don't really know what they are yet. You know what I mean? Like after the season, I think it's like, okay, we know what they are. But it's still a lot of second, third year guys. And Jordan Love, we've seen him play 2 years, maybe really 1.5, because last year's banged up and it's just weird. So, yeah.
I do think that the Vikings have like a solid team, and I definitely think it could be closer between them and the Bears than like people are expecting. But I think the Bears, their defense, I think is going to be really, really solid this year. Like I said, I mean, they added Grady Jarrett. I think that'll help out the line. They made key additions in the O-line as well. They're trying to beef it up for Ben Johnson and for Dennis Allen. So I want to see how Caleb Williams really does. Like you said,
you got to remember though, the Vikings were like the top defense in the NFL last year.
Yeah.
So
he's awesome.
100%.
So you just got at that point, you just start to compare offenses, and if Caleb Williams is still going through growing pains, like in the first day of training camp, it's
that's the day one overreaction stuff. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. And
he got pulled out of practice.
And I want to see
that doesn't happen.
I want to see what happens. Like he talked about, like he had that book, whatever, come out in the off season where it was like, oh yeah, Caleb Williams never wanted to be there. He wasn't like watching tape at all, like when he was there, because like he didn't really wasn't required to, things like that. And I want to see if he can really turn it around. I think he can with Ben Johnson coming in. I think Ben Johnson will have DeAndre Swift playing a little bit better in a better role too. I want to see how he plays, but we'll get into the running backs and quarterbacks and everything like that in just a minute. Hammer, the quarterbacks here. Jordan Love, your quarterback. Where do you think he ranks?
My guy. Yeah, I mean, this is to me, this is the make or break year for Love. This is like we're really gonna see what he is. And so right now I gotta put him number 2. I'm gonna go Jared Goff 1, Love 2, 3 Williams, and then 4 JJ. Jared Goff has just been like the model of consistency. It's been really good. Jordan Love has been like this, and that's due to just starting a year ago and injuries. So right now he's number 2, but he's got all the tools and potential to be number 1 on this list.
Ty, any arguments? Or wait, Hammer, did you finish your? You put Caleb Williams and Caleb Williams is 3, McCarthy 4, right? Okay, yeah, Ty.
Yeah, and I have the same list, and I think it's important, right? We just talked about JJ has the higher floor and blah blah blah, and like the teams are better. It's important to note that Caleb is above JJ because Caleb does have the higher ceiling, right? And like he does have a year under his belt. Like he wasn't that bad last year, right? Where it was like, oh my God, he's awful. It's just like, JJ is what JJ is. And, probably most of this offense is going to be him handing the ball off to Aaron Jones and then him throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. So he's not going to do anything spectacular. It's just the team around him is what's kind of, propping him up. But I think Goff, Love, Caleb, and JJ.
Yeah, no, I have the same list. I think Caleb Williams, right? Another thing needs to be talked about is how much he was sacked last year. He was facing pressure on seemingly every snap, whether that was his fault rolling out too quickly or the O-line just really just being terrible. But I think they bumped up the O-line this offseason, trying to help him out a little bit. And I think Roma Dunze as well will help him out a little bit more this year than he did last year. They did lose Keenan Allen, though, so I want to see how that kind of, obviously the vet presence, we'll see how that impacts them there. Moving on to the running backs, what is your running back rankings for this division?
Yeah, number one, I have Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery. I think this is like the only true duo in this division, and it's it's worked for them. It's really driven them to the playoffs. Goff's a good quarterback, but I think when you have a good run game like that, it really aids like the play action, and that's what Goff has been his best in the play action game. At 2, I have Josh Jacobs. He was a stud signing for them last year. No clue why Vegas let him walk. And then at 3, I have Aaron Jones, and at 4, I have DeAndre Swift. And I would not be shocked. It's kind of a hot take, but I would not be shocked if Kyle Monangai ended up, taking some carries and maybe even stealing DeAndre Swift's job. He's never really been able to hold on to a job, right? He was in Detroit, they let him go. In Philly, they let him go. He's been fine in Chicago, and I know they did upgrade the offensive line, but Monangai, a name to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair list. I have Gibbs and Montgomery obviously at number 1 as well, and I will say I love Montgomery still because of he won me 1.2 grand last year on a first touchdown score. So thank you, David, for that. I think that duo, it was basically what Kamara and Mark Ingram were for however many years they were together, and I think they'll continue to do that until one of them has to leave, and it'll probably be Montgomery because Gibbs is going to get locked up for a long time in Detroit. Number 2, I'm going to go Josh Jacobs as well. I think obviously Josh Jacobs, for whatever reason, people were overlooking him before last year, right? I think that the year after he had his blow up season in Las Vegas, he had a little bit of a down year after that. And then the Packers went and got him. And he was always a guy that could be a top 5 running back in the league. He's top 10, but he had that top 5 potential because of the kind of running back he is. And he balled out last year.
He's
teetering. He's right there in the line. I would see. I definitely think he could be.
Yeah, he's top 5.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs, but Hammer, I know obviously when he went there, Hammer was ecstatic. What was it? First day of free agency, Hammer, when you guys signed him? It opened up. I don't know if you were expecting it though. It was like a surprise for you, right? Yeah, surprise for you, but it was an awesome signing, and obviously he killed the Saints. I know he stiff-armed. Pretty sure it was him that stiff-armed Tyrann Mathieu into the dirt, which was really disappointing.
Retire.
Yeah, really disappointing to watch. But anyways, number 3, I'm going to go DeAndre Swift above Aaron Jones. Yep, I know. And Hammer's disappointed there. DeAndre Swift this season, and I'm not saying, obviously, I don't know if DeAndre Swift is like a better running back, but I think in this system, I think he could succeed really, really well. I think it's like a system that's built for success. I think the O-line's really, really going to help him out this year. And I think we could see more production from him than Aaron Jones this upcoming season. And that also has to do with Aaron Jones and his health, right? I want to see if Aaron Jones can stay healthy for the full season, things like that. But I think it's pretty close for me. I'm perfectly fine tied with you putting Aaron Jones above him or DeAndre Swift at the bottom. But I think DeAndre Swift this year is set up for success. Hammer, obviously disagreement there. What are your thoughts?
I got Gibbs, Jacobs, Jones, and Swift.
Yeah.
I remember last year for agency, I remember the running backs, and Swift was I think the first guy to sign. It was just the Bears. They get all this money, they're in talks, and you have Derrick Henry, Jacobs, and Saquon. And the first guy they sign, they give him 12 mils, DeAndre Swift. Yeah, like Ty said, this guy can't hold a job. He's not that good. For you to put this guy above Aaron Jones is terrible. You shouldn't have a mic. You got to read some books. You got to watch some tape. It's really bad, Jenks. It's really bad.
Oh, man.
A lot of people don't know this. Me and Jenks, we were in a fantasy football league for a couple of years together. We managed the same team. And he held me back year in and year out because of decisions and choices like this.
This is not
true. I have placed top 3 in basically every
all.
League I'm in. But when I'm in the league with him, we don't make the playoffs. We miss. I feel
Last
like
year
the Saints, it
we got
sucks.
Brock Bowers and we started off like 1-5, made it to the playoffs because I traded for Brock Bowers. So, it'd be a little fair.
That was
Be a little
bad,
fair. You didn't
but
believe in the trade,
yeah,
but it worked out.
love Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I know.
Aaron
I know.
Jones,
You're
he's just
obviously a
so
huge
consistent.
Aaron
You
Jones
know what
fan.
you're gonna get out of him. He's like a
Yeah.
4-yard per carry guy every season, right? Like,
Guy does everything. He can
No, I
catch,
definitely believe in Aaron Jones. I don't think
downhill.
he's like I'm not putting him at the bottom because I don't believe in him. I just think that DeAndre Swift, this offense, Ben Johnson loves his running backs. Like that's the only reason why I'm putting him there. Ben Johnson loves his running backs, is going to create an offense where DeAndre Swift can succeed. And I think his production will be higher this season. That's the only reason why I have him above.
And not with the
Aaron
rookie QB, JJ McCarthy. You don't think Aaron Jones gonna have better numbers? Who's good?
That's not what I'm saying. Obviously, he
That is
could.
what you're saying. You're saying he's gonna have better production.
I'm saying that
Things
Ben
push
Johnson
him.
creates an offense built around his running backs. He's done that the last few years in
And
Detroit.
what do you
and
think
we've
Kevin
seen that play
O'Connell's
out.
gonna do? What do you think Kevin O'Connell's gonna do this year?
He's obviously going to be
Hand the
running
ball
the
off.
ball with Aaron Jones, but they're still going to be throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson on the offensive side of the ball. So I think obviously Aaron
well, he
Jones
won't be
will
throwing
still
it to Addison for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, after a few weeks for Jordan Addison. But I still think that offense is obviously going to be fine. I think that Aaron Jones will be fine as well, and he'll have similar production to what he had last year. I think DeAndre Swift is more set up for success under Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson's a great head coach or great offensive mind, and I think he'll scheme up that offense for success for DeAndre Swift. And again, don't mind putting Aaron Jones above him. Like I'm fine.
What,
with
you calling
either.
Kevin O'Connell
We're
a bum?
We're
A
arguing
bum?
for 3 and 4. Oh no, like the bottom of the division. What are we gonna do? Like
I think there's a way bigger gap between Jones and Swift though than just a 3 and 4, right? I think it's
I
don't know.
Yeah, I mean
for
that's
me
a fine
personally,
argument, but
DeAndre Swift is a possible camp cut candidate. Like,
Yeah.
no,
That- that-
I
there's
don't
a
think that-
there's
he's
a
not
really
gonna
good
cut.
chance. He's getting paid a lot of money to not do a
see.
lot.
And who knows? Even if it is Kyle Monningai, like you said, Ty, he could have a bigger season than Aaron Jones if again this Ben Johnson offense will be crafted around the running back especially if Caleb Williams is struggling, because
Right, and then
they'll
they're
be
just
trying to
going
hand
to
it
load
off
the
to him.
box though.
But you're not okay. But you're not going to be able to load the box against that. I don't think you'll be able to. I think they could try, but
Yes, Ben Johnson's a great offensive mind, but if his quarterback sucks, I mean, what's he going to do? You know, it's
I don't think.
easy to hone in on.
We could. These are all hypotheticals right now, which is perfectly fine, and I think
You got
I don't
pulled
know.
out of
you're
pulled out of day one of camp.
successful.
It's not looking good.
I believe in Caleb. I'm trying. I'm trying to
And I
believe
believe
in him.
in
But
Bryce Young and Penix.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. I think both of them will be.
I'm going against the guys in your
quarterbacks.
division, Jenks. You can pick that up.
I know, but I'm saying,
No
like,
receivers.
I'm not like supporting the Bears just because, despite you, Hammer. Sorry, I'm not. That's not my.
That's what it feels like.
not my
That's
goal.
what it feels
I
like.
promise. I promise you, it's not.
All right,
Anyways,
wide receivers.
moving on to receivers. We spent enough time on shitty DeAndre Swift.
Thanks
Anyways,
to you.
receivers. Number 1, I'm going to go Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. I think when obviously Jordan Addison's going to be back after suspension, that's obviously the 1 and 2. Justin Jefferson is just a league of his own with Jamar Chase at 1 and 2 in the league. At number 2, I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. I think that duo is still really, really solid, and it's going to just improve again this year. I think Jamison Williams is still improving, and obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown is the model of consistency in the league at the receiver position. At number 3, I'm going to go Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, and Romeo Doubs. Whichever receiver 2 you want to pick, they're all a bunch of receiver 1s. So like mid-range receiver 1s. That's all that whole receiver room is filled with. So I think the Packers obviously have the deepest room in this division. I think their receiver room is probably the best as a whole. But if we're talking receiver duos, I have them at number 3. Number 4, I'm going to go DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. I think they're obviously solid, but the 3 groups above them are really, really, really good. This is a great division for receivers. Hammer, what are your thoughts on this list?
Yeah, I mean, you're nicer than me. No, I mean, I put Green Bay 4. I go Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, and then Green Bay.
Is that
yeah, Green Bay's deep, but I mean, I'm still taking
DJ Moore?
Minnesota's room over them. Yeah,
Yeah,
I take DJ Moore and Rome Odunze over Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's fair. I like the depth though. I do think that like Rome Odunze,
they're really deep.
I would say Rome Odunze is like below Jaden Reed. And I
Right
think
now, sure, but he does have the
yeah,
potential to be.
I would say potential, but for this year, I think the Packers definitely have like I like their receiver duo more, and I think they'll help out Jordan Love. But I think that's a fair argument. Hammer 100% for the Bears. Ty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had the same list as Hammer, and I'll just add 2 things. Like, one, I really gave some thought to St. Brown and Williams over Jefferson and Addison just because I believe
too.
in J-Mo a lot, right? Like, I think obviously Jefferson's a better receiver than Amon-Ra, but Amon-Ra's a top 5 receiver. I think J-Mo, if he continues on the ascend and just the way that Dan Campbell's talking about him, I really think that the true duo could end up being better than the Jefferson-Addison duo, although Jordan Addison has had a pretty good start to his career.
Yeah,
And then,
last
yeah, it's,
let me see. Go ahead, Ty. Sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, Packers as a wide receiver room as a whole, right? Like, very deep, and I would put them, at 3, but I like Hammer was saying, I think DJ Moore, would immediately go in there and be the wide receiver 1, and Odunze would be, like, a question mark of, like, where does he fit in this group? So I think as a duo, they, they're a little bit
Yeah,
and I had Golden Reed actually as the duo there. I think Matthew
yeah,
Golden should be.
that's definitely the
Yeah.
duo there. And I will say, like, this draft process, obviously, Hammer had some issues with some of the things I said about Matthew Golden, but I do think Matthew Golden's going to be I think he'll be a solid receiver for them nonetheless, and I think that receiver room is still going to be really, really solid, like they are year after year. And it's just for fantasy wise, obviously, I'm not touching a receiver in that room. You can't touch a single one of them because Jordan Love has a different receiver every
If
single
you're in a
week.
dynasty, you can go with Matthew
You can
Golden
go with
at some point.
Golden.
You know
Yeah,
who you
but
can, you know who you can touch though? Who you can
who
take?
who can you
Tucker
touch him?
Kraft. And we're about to lead this into the next
Yeah, okay.
segment. Tucker Kraft.
All right. Yeah,
move.
moving on to tight ends here real quick. I'll lead this off by saying that Ethan, who couldn't record with us today, he came out, texted the group chat, and he said that he thinks Tucker Kraft is the best tight end out of both of these divisions. He's the number 1 tight end out of all 8. And to me, I think that's a little bit crazy. I'll let obviously Hammer, I'll let you break down your rankings first, and then we'll talk about Ethan's thoughts afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tucker Kraft's a dude. This guy does it all. Had a really good year, 700 yards, 7 touchdowns, blocks his butt off. He plays football the right way. If you ever go on YouTube and look up Tucker Kraft mic'd up, you're gonna enjoy it. It's a good 3-minute watch. He's a fun player. I like him a lot. And you look at this division. I mean, why can't he be number 1? I mean, Sam Laporta, he's good. He had a little bit like a sophomore slump, I guess. This year, he took a step back a little bit. Tucker and Sam have, very similar stats. I think Tucker's probably a better all-around tight end blocker too. I call him like baby George Kittle. And then, you have the Bears with Kmet, Loveland, the rookie. I'm not going to put a rookie over him right now. And then Hawkinson, who's been kind of banged up, of course, last season getting injured. So, yeah, I'm going to put Tucker number 1 in this division. 2 is going to be Sam Laporta. 3, I'll go Hawkinson. And 4, I'm going to go Kmet.
Ty, any disagreements there?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the entire list. I have Laporta at 1. I do think he took a step back to begin the season, but I think he had a pretty strong finish. So that was pretty important after, a really strong rookie season. At 2, I have Hawk. I think that Hawkinson's fully healthy. He's still one of the better tight ends in the league, right? Like, he started off missing a ton of last year, but then when he came back, he was, just back into the flow of things. And I think he'll be a true safety blanket for JJ. Like, if anyone's really going to thrive, Aaron Jones might thrive, but I think Hawkinson will thrive with a young quarterback because it's just going to be find the big body, over the middle of the field. And then at 3, I mean, it got tough for me, right? Because I think Tucker Kraft is a better tight end than Cole Kmet, and I think he's a better tight end than Colson Loveland. But I think, so if we were just going to do individual rankings, sure, I'd put Kraft at 3, but the tight end room, I think you'll get more production out of Kmet Loveland than you will get Kraft. I'm really high on Loveland. I was coming into the draft. I wanted Denver to take him. I know Jenks absolutely hates him. But I think, Loveland, he's not nearly the blocker that Tucker Kraft is. So again, if it's an all-around tight end, but Loveland as a receiver, I think production-wise could yield more. But again, it's really reliant on what goes down with Caleb Williams. I mean, Ben Johnson, he used Laporta really well his rookie year. So, I see no reason that Loveland couldn't have a similar season. But if his quarterback sucks, then yeah. So I think Kraft as an individual for me is 3, but as a room, I think Kmet Loveland would be above Kraft for me.
Yeah, see, I just want to address this real quick. Ty said that I hate Colston Loveland. Obviously, that's not true. I don't
do.
hate Colston. I
You
think
do, and you hate
Colston,
Matthew Golden.
I think Colston is perfectly fine. I just argued that I hate tight ends in the first round for value in the NFL draft. I hate it unless it's like a Brock Bowers type guy. I don't think because
What about left guards? Like, let's say it's at 9.
again,
Boom,
he's a
roasted.
left
Put him as you
tackle.
want.
He's a left tackle.
He's a guard.
Anyway,
He's a guard.
he's our left tackle and he's going to kill the league this year. So anyways, the tight end position, like I think obviously Colston Loveland, like you said, Ty, is more of a receiver than he is a blocker or all around kind of guy. Whereas I think like a guy like Tyler Warren, he can kind of block, not the best blocker, but he's better than Loveland. And I think
Miles better than Loveland.
Yeah. And I think Tucker Kraft obviously is a lot better of a blocker. So like that bumps him up as far as like if I would have drafted someone in the first round. I only disliked Colston Loveland in the first round. That was it. I think Colston Loveland has a really high ceiling as a receiver. As far as my rankings go, at number 1, I'm going to go Sam Laporta. I think Hammer, obviously, you have a perfect argument for why you think Kraft could be better this season, but I think Sam Laporta will take a step back to what he was the year before last season. And then I think Tucker Kraft is going to be my number 2. I do like Tucker Kraft a lot. I think he's being underrated criminally for fantasy value this upcoming season, especially PPR. I think he's going to be a guy that gets a lot of receptions this year. I think he had 70 last season, something like that. He was really high up there in receptions for tight ends. Especially if you're playing tight end premium, go get Tucker Kraft. Number 3, I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson. Getting a little bit older and health concerns. I want to see him stay healthy again this year after last year getting hurt. And then number 4, I'll go Colston Loveland. I think he'll be the tight end 1 over Cole Kmet this season for the Bears. But I think this is, again, really solid tight end group, right? I think both divisions have pretty solid tight end groups.
This division's probably got the deepest tight ends. I think however you want to put them, it's pretty close, and the way you're going to put them is just based on flavor. What kind of flavor you want? You want an all-around guy? You want a receiving guy? You know what I mean? It just depends.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing we've seen around the league is like different teams have different picks of what they kind of are looking for right now. And so the tight end position as a whole has been changing a lot across the league. So we'll see how it plays out this season. Hammer, what are your thoughts on win predictions for this division?
I think so. I think Green Bay is going to win the division this year at 11 wins. I think them and Detroit are both going to have 11. I think Detroit's going to take a step back. I think Green Bay is going to sit even with what they did last year at 11. I think it's going to come down to division wins, and I'm going to say Green Bay's got more. So I'm going to go Green Bay, then Detroit, both at 11 wins in that order. And then I'm going to go Minnesota and Chicago, both at 8.
Okay.
So very competitive, very tight division. I'm going to say, 11, 11, 8, 8, and it just comes down to tiebreakers.
I don't mind that. Ty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have Detroit, continuing on with what they were last year. I think 13 wins is my number that I would give to them. I don't really think the coordinator loss is really going to hurt them as much, especially because a lot of it was internal guys that, are going to probably schematically be the same thing. And then I think Green Bay 11, I would agree with Hammer. I think Minnesota probably 10. I think what they did with Darnold last year, he was like 14 wins or something like that. I don't think that there's any reason why they couldn't touch double digits again. Then, Chicago 7-8 wins. I just their ceiling is like 12. Their floor is
kind of
like
where I'm
6.
at too. The ceiling is high.
Right? They, I think the other 3 teams, they have a very small gap in the floor and the ceiling, right? Like they're probably all they're at minimum like a 9-win team, and at most like a 14-win team. Okay. I just like Chicago is like a 12 to, they could win 5.
They're weird. They were on to a good start last year, and then one play happens, that Hail Mary, and just like that, they collapse. So it's just like, Chicago's weird. And they've always been like that.
Yeah, no, I'm similar to you guys. I think obviously I have the Lions doing the same thing, Ty, like you, similar to last year. I think they'll go maybe 12 wins this year, take a little bit of a step back. I also think they're obviously going to have a little bit of a tougher schedule, and I think this division is going to improve this year, and they might split a couple more games. And then I think the Packers, obviously, I'm going to go 11 wins for the Packers. Again, that's what they were last year, right? This was 11 again. The Bears, again, I really like that you brought that up, Ty, is that they have a high ceiling. I like when their schedule first came out, and obviously, like optimism wise, I was like, this team could win 12 games, like you said. And then, you kind of sink back to reality, and I see them going lowest, probably I would say 7 wins for them. I think the 7 is like probably the floor, but I'm gonna go 9 wins for the Bears there. And then if they somehow split with the Packers or something, that record to be really close going into the final few games of the season. And then the Vikings I'll have going probably 8 or 9 wins. That's kind of where I'm at for them as well. And I'll have them losing the division, but really close with the Bears as well. Anyways, for this division rankings, final division rankings, this is our last episode for the division previews. How would you guys rank the divisions top to bottom?
Ham, I'll let you go first.
Top to bottom, all 8 teams.
All eight like divisions.
Yeah, rank the division as a whole versus the other divisions.
Oh, yeah, I think this is 1 and 2.
Yeah, but I'm saying like all 8 divisions.
Oh, all 8 divisions?
Yeah. You could name one, and then we could like rattle it off like a draft. Like you can do first pick, and
yeah, I'm gonna go NFC North 1.
Yeah.
Then AFC North. Then I'll probably go. Probably gonna go AFC West at 3.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
4. Well, dead last is the NFC South. I mean, dead last. No, actually,
your NFC.
Yeah.
Both of the South.
They're both. Yeah, you can put them both at the bottom. 4, I'll give it to. I guess I'll give it to NFC West. I'll go NFC West.
You go the NFC West over the East, okay?
Yes,
yeah.
East,
well, that bottom tier is probably a little bit different.
We talked about this last week, right? It was like the Cardinals are a better team than the Giants. That's really the separator.
Yeah, and then it's just like Dallas. It's like Dallas. I feel like probably like Dallas and Seattle is on the same level, right? I don't know.
I think Dallas would be pretty good. I mean, they're always. I think that's Dak's healthy. They're good.
I know. Yeah, so I'll probably go NFC West, and I'm gonna go NFC East, and then AFC East, and then the 2 Souths, whatever you want to put them. I'll put the NFC.
It's tough.
You look at that. Put the AFC. I'm gonna put the AFC South first. I mean, not first, but above the NFC, just because I think, hey, Houston, they're a team that's won 2 playoff games the past 2 years.
Bucks.
That Colts roster is pretty good. So I'll take them.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's kind of where I'm at too. So anyways, moving on from the divisions real quick, I just want to break down. We had 4 new jersey updates this week. So I want to break these down really quick. Let's see if I can bring them in.
Going on the Packers Pro Shop right now.
We'll go with Hammer's team first here.
They did copy. We have to say this. They did copy Illinois, but it's a good copy. It's a nice.
Is it a copy though?
It's a direct. The helmet is the helmet's
direct copy. It's an exact thing that we used to wear in 1923.
Well, yeah, but like they were doing a normal brown helmet to represent it, and then Illinois came out and did the airbrushed helmet, and then the Packers like, yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Like no one else had ever done that. Yeah.
But no, Hammer, I definitely like them. What would you rate them? Okay, out of 10, what would you guys rate these jerseys in the helmet?
10.
10 out of 10.
I love it. You know what? Well, yesterday the jersey got leaked and not the helmet, and I saw the jersey. I love the jersey.
I like the jersey
a
lot.
Like Navy, like Notre Dame. I think it looked really, really sharp. And then I mean this is throwback. I love it.
So 10 out of 10. Ty, what do you think?
I'd give it like a 9. I think like if we're gonna give 10s, I mean, it obviously makes sense for Hammer to give a 10, but I think like the 10s are like some of the true throwbacks, like the Seahawks, the Oilers ones, the Broncos ones,
the Saints like new color rush.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is like an 11. Like that,
yeah. I mean I agree with that. So I'll give this one like a 9.5 because I get what Ty's saying.
Okay, here's my thoughts. I think the pants are really ugly, and that's how they always are, right? It's like
that's the point
weird.
of it, though.
Yeah,
no, it is the throwback. It is the throwback.
Pants are always like tan like that.
It's like the jersey. Okay, the jersey itself, 10 out of 10. I love the jersey.
I'm gonna get the jersey. I'm gonna get the
helmet. Nice. The helmet. I liked Illinois' helmet a little bit more. It's like a little bit less bright, and like the stitching looks a little bit better. For whatever reason, like that's a nitpick, obviously. So it's like a 9 out of 10 helmet, and then the pants. So I'd give it like a 8.5 as a full uniform, right? I mean, that's full uniform ranking. Next, moving on, we got
Garbage.
Yeah,
0. These are the
It's
ugliest.
sold that.
the
It's
Steelers-
sold. You know what
Steelers
though?
popping up.
I saw the helmet first. I was like, helmet's nice. Like I like
helmet's
the yellow.
nice.
Yeah. And then
They
it's
don't
like
even
you go,
match.
then you go down and it's like, oh, God.
Exactly. Wait, so Hammer, rank it. Like out of 0 to 10 or 10 out of 10. I mean, what would you rank it?
It's not even a number. It's whale poop. That's what that thing is.
Yeah.
It's not even
Garbage.
It's not even. That's ugly. I mean, you know what? I'll give it like a 3 for the helmet. The helmet's cool.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Ty, what
don't
do you
know,
think?
like a 2.
I'm giving it a 0. I think this is
Okay.
the worst uniform in the NFL. But actually, I'll give it a 1 because we're going to see another one that's even worse.
No. Okay.
Think
okay.
so.
We're gonna
No, that
talk
one's
about
better than
that.
this.
We're gonna talk about. Okay, but I'm gonna give it a 2. Right, this helmet, really nice helmet. I like the gray face mask, the
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
helmet, but the yellow doesn't match the yellow in the jersey.
What's
Then
up?
you have this ugly ass patch on the jersey at the top left, ugly as hell. Can't get over that. The stripes don't continue to the
Pants.
back. The stripes don't continue to the back, so it's just black stripes and then a yellow back. Which why? And then the pants again. So
So-
They
ugly.
got to bring back the bumblebees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things. I mean, first, they're wearing these week 8 Sunday night against the Packers. Rodgers has to wear this going against the Packers, like big night. Like
Why would you wear this
Just-
on Sunday Night Football?
this is
What
what I'm
at 1
thinking about
o'clock?
though. Like the first thing when I heard that, I'm like, Rodgers when he gets put in the Hall of Fame, they're showing clips and everything, and there's gonna be a whole documentary on football life on this guy and his revenge game against the Packers. Is he gonna make him wearing this thing? Like, come on, really?
What if Hammer?
And
What
the
if he comes
Packers
out-
are probably gonna be wearing all white with the white helmet, and they're gonna look clean.
Yeah.
Like this is
But-
just like terrible.
Hammer,
and then second thing,
imagine-
what is that pose? What is he doing there? That's not even like catches up here. He's
This is
like, what is that?
This is an electric pose, Hammer. Come on. What do you?
It's not.
No, it's bad. It's
you're
bad.
not the
And
you.
Days
they're,
off
they're
with this
standing.
ugly
Okay, so
uniform.
obviously they're Steelers.
Yeah.
It's like an industrial background, but it just
Yeah, I get the background. I'm saying the stance.
But it
What's
just
the
doesn't
pose?
doesn't
What
look
is that
good.
pose? What does it do for you?
And let me say this, Hammer. Imagine if Aaron Rodgers comes out in these absolute shitstorm of a uniform and just balls out against the Packers. And that's in the football life documentary about Aaron Rodgers.
No,
and then-
yeah, absolutely. It's gonna happen. I know it is, but I'm saying at least look good doing it. Like he's not gonna look good doing it.
It's-
These
it's-
are
it's
awful.
not good. Yeah, so we're all on board with the 2 out of 10. And then before the Browns, the Saints little beige piss uniform.
These are garbage. These are the worst ones.
You think so, Ty?
Would you
These are
say
the worst uniform in this jersey is disgusting. The
You- okay.
Demario Davis picture,
okay.
they look a little bit
It's so
better in this
bad.
picture. The Demario Davis picture, they look awful.
And I want to see
So
I
bad.
want to see
They're
what
wearing
they
these
look
with the
like.
black helmets.
Yeah.
with the black helmets
The
with those
shitty
black-
ass black helmets with these ugly gold striped that. Oh. So here were my thoughts, right? They said, "Oh, we're getting gold uniforms." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go. The Saints are going to get gold. Like the color rush gold is what I'm expecting.
is
like
Manila.
actual gold. This is piss white or cream
That's-
beige. Like there's no gold. And I want to say it doesn't match with the helmet again. So it's similar to the Steelers situation where you're like, this is gold and then this is whatever. And yeah, I'm not a fan.
That's
A
like
lot of
that's
Saints
like
fans
that's
like
like you know what color? That's like mayo. It's like
Yeah.
mayo.
At least
That's what
the
that
other
is.
two, like it's kind of a close yellow. This is not even close.
it's
No.
terrible. I hate these. And
I'd give it-
maybe I'd warm up to them like after seeing it on the field. But yeah, I'm at 2 again, similar to the Steelers.
0.
I'll give it a 3.
They're basic, they're plain, and I don't like the gold at all. It's not Saints gold. It's just a weird.
Why does Brandon Cooks look like he had a stroke too?
Okay, we don't. That's Brandon Cooks is the vet president of the team. I respect Brandon, but
I'm just saying, he's got the half smile going.
moving on.
These are bad too.
These
This
are
is
my
poop.
favorite jerseys out of the 4.
Is your favorite?
These are my favorite.
Packers have the best. This is
uniforms out
bad.
of
Yeah,
these
yeah. This
4.
is also bad. We give the Packers a 9. You think this is?
These,
you give
these
it an
are
8.5.
these are a perfect uniform for the Browns. These are a
Who
perfect
Brown?
uniform. They're the Browns. They are the Browns.
They're not named the Browns
name
because of
is
the color
Brown.
brown. The owner was last name Brown.
And yet Their team name is
Their
the Browns.
mascot's an
They're
elf.
wearing dark brown uniforms. It looks electric. It's like a
These
color
guys-
rush uniform is
These guys
back.
have the worst colors in the entire league.
That's a
They
fair
have a
take.
stupid mascot with the elf. They should have went with the dog, like the dog pound, like the fans.
Wait, but the helmet's black, right?
No, it's
Now
brown.
it's brown. It's
It's
all
like a-
brown.
It really looks like a black though.
Yeah, the shade here
They're
is
all,
awful.
they're all the dark. It's the same color throughout the uniform. So we finally have a matching uniform,
It-
top
it-
to
if-
bottom, like
if-
color rushes.
If this
Wow.
uniform had like a dog helmet on the side of the helmet, I'd be like, okay, this is sick.
I mean,
Like
that's
the
a fair
dog
take, but I just think I like the simplicity. I think it looks good. I think it'll pop when they're on the field. I'm a big fan in color
It's
rushes.
gonna
Honest-
pop.
honestly,
brown on
brown-
green.
I'm
brown
saying
and-
I think
brown and
the
orange is
orange-
never
the
gonna-
orange-
Brown and orange is
The
never
orange
gonna look
accent.
good. It's never gonna look good. Brown
it's
and orange,
terrible.
like it's never.
I think it's
just-
fair. I'm a part of the minority that likes it. Like I was like the most of the Saints fans like the gold uniform somehow. I think those look like
yeah,
shit.
you're the Browns uniform lover and the DeAndre Swift lover. Wacko.
But let me say this.
Wacko.
I do think the whole dude wipes situation really messed this up for them. Like if they wasn't associated with dude wipes, you're not associated with
is?
shit. Directly. Like
Oh my god, that's
okay,
even
okay.
worse. I didn't know that. Holy
On-
shit, they got
On the
literal
grand
poop
reveal,
unis.
they had a dude wipes mascot dancing in
Oh
front of the
my
helmet.
God.
And it's like that's
They
not how
literally
you
have shit unis. These are the Dookie unis.
but I love them. I
You
like
put
these
these over
uniforms a
Green
lot.
Bay. Over Green Bay.
I would.
You give
I
this a
would.
9? Holy shit.
These are perfect uniforms in my eyes for the Browns. I love it.
Sometimes Jenks says some shit that just
I love these uniforms. man.
shocking.
And it could be just because I like that they're all like it's matching head to toe, and I think that looks clean.
I'll give him
like-
that. They didn't do a different brown.
Like if
so-
it was a different brown, like then I would be like, okay, these are the worst things.
Yeah.
But they're matching head to toe. I like the accents, and they're basic, and I think that's what the Browns have stood for, right? Their logo was a goddamn helmet, for Christ's sake. Like, what do we? I think they're the simplicity of the league, but it's perfect for the Browns and what they represent. Shit.
man.
So, anyways, that'll do it for this episode. Do you guys have any closing thoughts before we wrap it up and move on to next week's whatever topics we want to talk about?
I mean, a week from today is the first preseason game. It's the Hall of Fame game. So, and then after
make
that,
picks.
it's
Yeah,
gonna be all
31st, yeah.
preseason and getting ready for fantasy football. Can't
Yeah,
you
we
know?
yeah. What are
training
your guys'
camp-
thoughts on the preseason? Like, do you watch it? Do you like watching it?
I do. I watch it.
I will be.
Watch the whole
I will
thing.
be there. I will be seated.
I
watching.
watched it a lot with Bo last year, but I'm like, will I watch it this year? Like, I don't know.
Well, for the Broncos, Ty, I think it's a little bit. It depends on. I think it matters for you, right? For the rookies, I think that's kind of like all you want to see is how are the rookies performing these games. If like for the Saints, like it's going to be the quarterback battle, and that makes it really important. So it kind of depends on where your team's at. Obviously, if you're
Yeah.
like the Chiefs or a team like that that's really established, you're like, who gives a shit? Like it does not matter. But for the bottom of the tier
You
teams,
gotta
the
think about
Saints,
it
I
like
care about it.
like this team, like a Browns team, like a Browns fan. It's probably big time.
Oh yeah,
Because
you
you're trying to find hidden
gems.
gems and you're trying
Yeah.
to build something. But no, I still watch. I look every time whenever Green Bay's playing, I watch the game start to finish, no matter what, no matter who's playing, no matter the score. So
You watch it live? I usually will watch it back.
Yes.
Like, I'll
I
record it.
watch it live.
I'll find a way and stream it on StreamEast or whatever. So
Fair.
We'll see. All right, guys, that'll do it. You guys know where to check us out on social media at Jenks Island and wherever you get your podcasts at Jenks Island as well. We will see you guys next week.